Pressure is mounting as we count down to the California Republican primary. 172 delegates, as Connell was telling us, up for grabs in the winner-take-most state. So that's 14% of the total needed to secure the entire party's nomination. The California Republican Party holding its state convention this weekend. 4.8 million registered Republicans can vote. That's only, though, 28% of all California voters. They'll hit the polls on June 7th. Now, let's take a look at the rules. California delegates are bound to a candidate until their candidate gets less than 10% of the vote at the convention. A candidate releases the delegates or a third round of ballots at convention. Jim Brulty is chair of the California GOP. I hope I got that right. Jim, did I get it right?
Hey, Gretchen, how are you?
Okay, I'm doing great. Let's talk about how key California is this year.
Well, you know, the last time California really had an impact was in 1964. And we're so used to being at the end of the line that we know our votes don't normally count, but it looks like California could be determinant now, which is why you see the level of enthusiasm of our delegates here. And if you just talk to people on the street, they're very, very interested in what's happening in both the Republican and the Democrat primary because they know their votes may count this year.
So it doesn't matter then, the facts and figures that I just gave, that there are only 28% of the California people registered to vote are Republicans. That doesn't matter because as long as those people are energized, they could end up deciding this whole thing.
Absolutely. We have the largest delegation to the national convention. And our delegation is almost a pure democracy. In California, the delegates are selected by the candidates, not the party leadership or the establishment. The candidates pick their delegate slates. The voters then vote for candidates, and the candidates are awarded delegates based on how they perform. We like it that way. We're excited. A number of the people in this room over the next 2 days are going to be delegates for one of the three presidential candidates. Right. And I have yet to see in my adult life a convention that's as exciting as this one here in California.
Yeah, a lot of us feel the same way. So let's reiterate what you said because it's so important. Because we've seen all this other stuff going on. Colorado didn't even have a primary or a caucus. And then Pennsylvania has all these unbound delegates. And on the ballot, it didn't even say who they supported. But in California, the candidates themselves pick their slates of delegates. Reiterate that again and how it works.
Yeah, well, 100 years ago we had a reform movement in California, and the leaders of California back then trusted voters more than party insiders. So each candidate picks 10 delegates to be their statewide delegates, and whichever candidate wins the majority or the plurality of the vote, he gets those 10 delegates.
Okay.
The candidates then each pick 3 delegates in each congressional district, and the candidate that wins that congressional district is awarded the 3 delegates that candidate picked.
Okay.
So out of 172 delegates, 169 are picked by the candidates. The only 3 that are not picked by the candidates are the state chair, which would be me, the national committeeman, and the national committeewoman, and we are bound to vote for the candidate who gets the most votes statewide.
Very, very interesting. Now, after they pick this slate of delegates, the candidates do, does it say on the ballot in California then who those delegates are for?
Actually, no. The candidates' names are on the ballot. The delegates' names are not on the ballot.
Okay.
Although the candidates have to report their delegate names to the California Secretary of State during the month of May, as well as to the California Republican Party. But voters in California, they vote for the candidate whose name is on the ballot.
Right.
And that would be Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, or John Kasich.
Yeah, it's a fascinating process. California, obviously different. A lot of people watching today will love California today for the fact that the voters actually matter and maybe not the state party people as much. Great to speak with you, Jim. All the best this weekend.